would you look at this? Another crowd-funded game. Well, I do wonder how well this one will be received. Which is actually pretty good, in fact, because unlike Yooka-Laylee and Mighty Number 9, Bloodstained is getting some pretty good scores, but no one in the mainstream gaming media is really talking about it. When I started writing this review, which was about a day after the game came out, Kotaku had a review of it and an article about how fighting a disembodied head of their dog, and then they talked about Steam reviews for it, so clearly it was a very slow day for Kotaku. Polygon had one article about its DLC, Games Radar had nothing, Engadget Gaming, nothing, GameSpot, 4 articles that could have been put together as one, given how short they are, as one was just about announcing that it was out, another shucking a promo code for it, one talking about a glitch on the PS4 and Xbox One versions, and another talking about DLC. Way to garner those clicks, GameSpot, and you'll wonder why I use ad blocker on your site. IGN had absolutely nothing, and Destructoid was really the only one with a full review and article on it. And all of them but Destructoid buried, and I mean buried, any article they had on Bloodstained, burying it under Fortnite, E3 coverage, which E3 ended 5 days before this game came out, and they were still churning out articles on the stuff they saw, mostly just repeating the same stuff. And if it wasn't that, these game sites, all about video games apparently, were talking about movies or TV shows, because, you know, God forbid we have coverage on a very highly anticipated game that's a callback to a game franchise that people so desperately want. Polygon did make a starter guide, and I think Kotaku posted another article, and I think some site talked about how the Switch port had frame rate issues, but they're not giving Bloodstained the spotlight it deserves. Because, as we all know, Fortnite is at the top of that search engine optimization juice, or whatever they call it. Oh, I feel dirty for even saying that. And you know what? I think I'm the only one of the very few people on this planet best suited to review this game. And why, you may ask? Because I've never played a Castlevainia game. So there's no way I can have any expectations of what it's supposed to be other than hopefully a good one. I do like the look of this game. While using this generation's graphics, the animations and presentation of dialogue scenes invoke a nostalgia trip. It reminds me of Dust and Elysian Tale, which was a Metroidvania game itself, but it's really the only game that I could compare it to since I haven't played any Castlevania games. The music is really good, it's very fitting to the setting and the levels too, and I love the one for the Twin Dragons Tower. The gameplay is a side-scrolling platformer. You can equip a variety of weapons. I mostly used one-handed swords as they were faster, and I tend to prefer a more speedy build in most games. And as much as I wanted to use them, the classic Castlevania whip weapons were just too slow for my tastes. You get shards that you can equip to use a variety of magical abilities that you can power up with stuff found in chests or from enemy drops. Some bosses give you permanent upgrades like a double jump, others give you abilities that can help you to get to new areas. The main aspect of the game is exploration, searching every single nook and cranny for items and then going back to earlier areas to get items with newly acquired abilities and tools. In the beginning of the game, it can be challenging as you learn to fight the enemies, learn their attack patterns and all that, but once you figure it out and have the right combination of weapons, all the backtracking you'll be doing to get items to progress will be a walk in the park, as older areas don't offer anything in the challenge aspect, mostly because you've turned into a one-woman army. It's very old school in design. You can only attack directly in front of you with weapons, and depending on the weapon that you use, you can actually damage enemies behind you, but they need to be close so that way they're in the arc of your swing. I don't know if this was done on purpose or was just an oversight, given the fact that everything in the game is 3D, but just on a 2D plane. This may seem detrimental, but you do use the right analog stick to move Miriam's hand in a full 360. This way you can use directional magic to attack, which makes up for the inability to use weapon attacks in all directions. And defeating enemies has a chance for them to drop a shard, which allows you to use enemy abilities. You also get the chance of getting a shard that allows you to summon a familiar, which is a thing, I guess, for better lack of term, because it'll follow you around and attack enemies, which does make the game easier. And the familiar levels up and uses no MP to summon or to attack, so if you want extra challenge, don't summon one. There's also RPG elements to the game. You gain experience points that raise your stats. There's weapons, armor, accessories to modify those stats, and you can cook food to gain buffs. There's items that will increase your HP, MP, and ammunition capacity for guns. Attacking purple lanterns will drop flowers that you'll use to replenish your MP, because it does regenerate on its own, but at about 1 point per second and a half, and if your MP is full, money will appear instead, which you can use to buy things at the shop like health potions, which you'll need to do because potions are rare pickups. But you can buy them, and in a weird case of oversight, large health potions cost 1,000, but you can buy 4 small ones for 200 each, and then you could go to the next room and combine them into a large health potion for absolutely nothing. You're able to craft weapons and armor, or you can increase the power of your shards with the items that you pick up from fallen enemies and treasure chests. I really enjoyed the boss battles, but some weren't really challenging at all. The only one that I repeatedly died on was this samurai guy that you meet, and I think his name is Zangetsu or Zansodu. I don't know, but I know there's a weapon that has a similar name to him that he gives you on the second time you meet him. So it's Zan something. He becomes your ally after you beat him, but I don't think I was all that prepared for the fight. And after him, I downed each boss on the first go, except for the twin dragons on the tower, but only because I screwed up, not because it was hard. And I started to breeze through areas. I even started avoiding some enemies because I just wanted to get to the next area. And just to be very clear, that is not a strike against the game. That's just how I usually play Metroidvania games. I've done it with all the Metroid games that I've played. I've done it with Dust and Elysian Tale, and probably any other game where backtracking and exploration is a key part of the game. When it comes to the story, I didn't really pay attention to it. I just sort of glazed over it because I was more into the gameplay, which I think is the more important aspect in this case, because the game is trying so hard to be a good Metroidvania type of game, and I think it really succeeds in that aspect. There is one glitch that I happened upon on many occasions, where if an enemy drops an item and it lands on a weird surface, you won't be able to pick it up. But I can forgive that because my luck was so high, enemies were dropping items left and right. And one really nice feature, and one that I played around with quite a bit, was that you can make Miriam look any way that you want her to look. You could give her different haircuts, color her hair, recolor her outfit, and even change her skin tone and eye color. While I don't have it recorded, I gave her like an aqua blue seafoam kind of color with like black and red eyes, make her look kind of like a demon. I think it's pretty good. And I played this game for more hours than I recorded, and I still haven't beaten it. I've been enjoying uncovering every single secret and exploring until I can't explore anymore. And I've been trying to get a bunch of the achievements as well. I did look up a guide to figure out where I needed to go a few times, and I am towards the end of it, and have 75% of the map uncovered. I just love this style of game, and I can get so lost in them. Which is probably why I only recorded maybe the first 4 hours of my playthrough, because at time of recording, I'm 12 hours into the game and counting. I highly recommend this game. I loved it and will probably be playing it more. Out of all the high-profile Kickstarter games that have been released, this one is definitely the best, as it does exactly what it set out to do with perfect execution.